What's going on, guys? This is the 5 Yard Pass podcast with me, Suddy, and this is Shyam. Continuing the Euro 2021 edition, we're into the knockout stages, man. Wales versus Denmark, so Group A versus Group B winner, and Portugal versus Belgium versus the Group D third place, Portugal. Belgium versus Portugal, excuse me. We'll talk about Wales and Denmark first, but what a group stage it was, and it finished off so well with the group of death. The three teams which you expected to come out of it came out of it. But you wanted to talk about Hungary, so
It's
I'll
just
let you go.
massive kudos to Hungary because everyone thought they were going to get absolutely pumped. And
Yeah,
that first game, they played Portugal. They hung on really well for 80 minutes. Horrific own
yeah,
goal to concede, just very unfortunate. And then Ronaldo ran rampant after that. And you just thought, oh, that's their tournament gone. But they fought France and Germany to draw, man. And
yeah,
it was 6 minutes away from being through. It was six
yeah,
minutes away from knocking Germany. It took a bullet from Goretzka to get them through.
yeah.
Um, like just massive kudos. They could have been completely overwhelmed, but they will hate the fact that I'll say this, but they can walk out with their heads high. Like massive respect to Hungary for the way they went about it.
Hungary were, in my opinion, Hungary were very much on the verge of becoming laughing stocks, becoming a bit of the villains of the Euros because of the whole LGBT flag thing. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
They had
the Munich stadium with the rainbow colors. Yeah,
yeah, there was a lot going against them. They were definitely the kind of laughing stock of the group before it started. With all these memes coming out, they were definitely politically looked down on with the whole LGBT. I mean, look, the view in today's world is everyone kind of I'd say most people would accept the views that were not very much accepted or still not accepted in Eastern Europe. So look, they've done well. I don't know what the views of the players are. I hope they're more positive and liberal, but I think they did really well. I completely agree with you. It's going to be easily forgotten that they drew against Italy and drew against Germany as well, and were so close to getting through with really not many superstars in the team as well. You know,
yeah.
but yeah, look,
Not many household names there. Yeah,
that's all said and done. We'll come back up to the Group A, Group B. The winner, runner-up of Group A, Wales played third place Denmark in the new kind of style of this competition, where third place teams are going through. I don't know what to think of it. I think it's just one of those things. Let's just see how it goes. In the same way with the UEFA coming out that away goals are going to be taken away. It's one of those things. You just got to let it see how it goes. But we'll talk about Wales first, man. Wales, one of those teams where they have two or three, you could argue, game-changing superstars: Ramsey, Bale, potentially James because he plays for United. He knows what it takes to win, and a team of real workhorses. And then in Denmark is quite similar. If they had Ericsson, a world class player, but they have maybe a couple more better players in Højbjerg, Poulsen, Kasper Schmeichel, Vestergaard. But still, it's two teams
who's
that can
there?
go far. Sorry,
Who's Denmark's? They had that young 20-year-old that's replaced Ericsson. I forgot his name. He's got a great goal.
Damsgaard, the young fella.
Yeah,
Damsgaard.
yeah, he's kind of replaced Ericsson. Then he might be the long-term solution if Ericsson's not playing again. But
I,
some
I,
good players, yeah.
it's kind of tough to see Ericsson coming back from a personal point of view and a kind of liability point of view. Denmark itself, so it's tough. But coming back to them, the interesting about a game like this is that you have two kind of second rate teams of this tournament potentially going through on an easier game for each other. They're not playing the Portugals, they're not playing the Italys. Um, what do you think? What do you think Wales needs to do? Because I think everyone sees Wales going into this as a bit of an underdog. What would Wales have to do to get out of this game?
Yeah, firstly, I did want to mention the whole third place thing. I tried looking up online how they decide which third place team plays which group, and I couldn't find anything.
Okay.
I found it for
Okay.
Euro 2016. I couldn't find it for Euro 2020. And I tried sort of using this method in 2016 to figure out if it
Mm,
worked in 2020, but it didn't work out. So how they
yeah.
decide Portugal's playing Belgium, for example, I still
Okay.
don't know. So anybody's got any views on that, let us know. But yeah, it's interesting because Denmark, a bit like Ericsson, have come back from being out of it. Like they were really gone after those two games. They lost. They needed a whole set of permutations to go their way to get through, and
Yeah.
they went down as well. And then they've come back, as in they were down in the game, and then come back into it, and they found something. Um, I do have question marks over them because I do think that that might have been their final. Getting through to the groups out of the group stage may have been that significant achievement. And if they lost this game, almost everyone's like, well, you know what, given what's happened, you can understand, blah, blah, blah. So people, they might have that mindset. Whereas I do think Wales, even though Wales made the semi-finals of the last Euros and they've still got their stars from that team there, there's a lot of new players in that Wales team.
Mhm.
Danny Ward, the Welsh keeper, so he's been playing, his parent club has been Liverpool and Leicester since 2012. He's played
Yeah,
more games in this tournament than he has for Liverpool and Leicester. Like,
Jesus.
yes, like he's been loaned out here and there as goalkeepers tend to be, but he's been really good for Wales in this tournament. Probably a few of the pundits online have been giving him the goalkeeper of the group stage. He's been massive for them. And when you've
Yeah.
got the attacking players that they have, the three that you mentioned, Joe Allen's in there as well. They've
Mhm.
got players that can play on the stage and a mentality that sees them lift. Um,
Mhm.
I actually kind of lean towards Wales in this one, to be honest. I've got question marks over Denmark, whether they can come back, again, given that game was kind of the final for them. It's their first game outside Denmark as well. It'll be in
Yeah.
Amsterdam, so it's not like they're traveling very far. But it also means
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Welsh fans will be coming over, across the ocean to come and
Mhm.
watch their team as well. Um,
No Wales fans are allowed, but
oh,
because of COVID.
really? Really?
Yeah, it was a big thing because of the way the configurations have gone. It made no. I can't tell you the exact kind of like what was allowed and not allowed, but it made no sense that the Wales fans are not allowed.
It's funny
But yeah,
because
no,
I have something to say about that in the Belgium
you might
Portugal game, but
you might get a
funny how
you
different
might get a
countries
bunch
have different permutations. Yeah.
you might get a bunch of Welsh fans purely because they live in Denmark or Sweden. But no, you're not going to get an army
They're
of
not
Welsh
coming from
fans.
Wales. Yeah.
No, no, which is
So
huge.
yeah, that is a big thing because I suspect it wouldn't be too far to get from Copenhagen to Amsterdam to watch that game for the Danish fans. So that might give them something. But I've got. I didn't think I'd be saying this 3 or 4 months ago, but I've got question marks over Kasper Schmeichel. He's not had a good tournament. Made a massive
No,
blooper on the last. I don't like saying this because I don't like blaming keepers, being one myself, but he kind of made the mistake that got them knocked out of that Champions League spot. They were in the Champions League spot against Tottenham
yeah, yeah.
with 20 minutes to
He's not
go.
had a few good.
He's
Yeah.
34 now. He's getting to the end of those keeper good years. I've got question marks of him. He doesn't look like the imposing keeper that you think of him being. Probably since that 2016 title that they won.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of leaning to Wales here. We've had a couple of people make comments because we've sort of talked Wales up a bit, and they've had a tough group phase. Wales, that wasn't an easy group to get through, and they got through comfortably. With
Mm-hmm.
Turkey and Switzerland there as well, who are pretty good at doing well in tournaments, but Wales got rid of them. They've got now a team that tends to overachieve at tournaments in Denmark. I'm leaning towards Wales here.
All right. Interesting. I mean, uh, Denmark is the kind of the favorite on paper. I'm just thinking. I don't know, man. Like I think Denmark has had a good. They've had a good start. Now we talked about Germany. What you said there with Denmark having a great tournament, a great last game. Sorry, this happened to Germany. We said it in the video last. That Germany may have had a situation where they gave all out for Portugal, and they just steamed out against Hungary. They couldn't find an opening, and don't forget, although they went through, they didn't beat Hungary. They didn't even draw convincingly. Could this be? I think a little bit of the opposite. I think Denmark had a poor start, and I think you've just kind of seen the start of Denmark, where you're going to have a few good games out of them. Who they play next? Again, I don't really know how the permutations. I haven't actually gone and seen it, but I think this could be a good game for Denmark, man. Denmark is very much like a Germany in the sense they don't heavily rely on Braithwaite or Paulsen, although they do have goals in them. They're more of a team unit. They're defensively they can be good on a like at their best they can be very good. Vestergaard and Christiansen. But I do agree with
Paulson's
you,
had a
man.
good
I
tournament, but they're not historically reliant on him. They've got good
no.
individual players. I think Højbjerg's there, Kaya's there. Kaya deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, frankly, for what he did when Ericsson went down.
Yeah.
And they've got good players. I just think that Ramsey and Bale are better than anything that Denmark have to offer, and I think Wales know how to get the best out of them, which is interesting because
Yeah.
we typically agree on results. I think we're going to go different ways on this one, which might be the first time ever we do that.
Um,
So it'll be
I'm
interesting to
just
see how it goes.
I just want to see Sham who they play next. I really should have done this before. I just completely forgot how I did look at it before. I just can't remember how the permutations go. Um, okay, so Wales play Denmark and they play the winner of Czech Republic versus Netherlands. So that's that side of the draw. Very interesting.
So they go. Sorry, the winner of the Czech Republic and Netherlands.
Yeah, and then they go on to play. So this side of the semifinal. You have Denmark, Wales, Netherlands, Czech Republic playing for one semifinal spot, and then you have Sweden, Ukraine, England, Germany playing for the second semifinal spot. That's on the left side of the draw, and then the right side of the draw is the Italy's and all that. So it's a tough game, and I have to lean towards Denmark. The way they play, they play very well as a unit, and you saw against who they beat 4-1, Russia. Interesting because I didn't think they were the type of team that could turn the screw, but then again, momentum can make any team turn the screw the way, like a Man City screw turning thing.
Yeah. You see that a lot more modern football. I think
they're a team
more modern football because of the focus on systems and players understanding where they're going and sort of mental mindset. You see it more often nowadays.
So do you think it'll be a case of a close win for Wales, or do you think it'll be a penalty? Like, how do you think the game pans out for Wales? Should they win?
I think it will be fairly open. I think that both teams, I think they're going forward. They're better than how they are at the back, and I think both teams will fancy beating each other. And I don't think any other team will have justification for sitting back and letting the other one come at them. So I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I see goals in it, and I see a late winner. I don't think there's going to be a situation where one team's 4-0 up after an hour and the game's over.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be there to be won until the end. I'd be surprised if it goes to extra time. I do think there'll be a result in the 90 minutes, but you never know in these situations.
Another reason I think as well, Wales. I think Wales has more match winners than say Denmark does. You had to, I don't even think Denmark has a match winner. But I think
Eriksson was the one match winner, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's 2 or 3 years ago he was a huge player, getting them to the World Cup against Ireland, and then getting them to the World Cup again to the Euros against Ireland as well. Like he was a huge player for both kind of qualifying games. But I don't particularly think he's a match winner. What I was going to say was when the chips are down, though, I don't see a Wales player who can or Wales as a unit coming back to kind of get a draw out of a 90 minutes game to go into extra time or get a win. That's one of the reasons why as well. There's nothing to do with the systems. I think they're both quite good teams. I think both have decent group stages, considering circumstances that Denmark is in, considering the group that Wales was in. So, but I'm going to have to leave Denmark here. I think it's going to be a nice 2-1, 3-1 win for Denmark, I think.
Okay. I was going 2-1 for Wales, so yeah. I think we both agree they'll score. It's going to be down to who scores that winning goal, right? So that's probably about where the game sits, I think. Like it will be, both teams will score, both teams will have chances, and someone's going to get the winner towards the end, as opposed to, like I said, being 4-0 after an hour or something like that. So
all right, Shyam, perfect. We'll talk about Belgium and Portugal in the next video, but this is going to be a cracker. Wales versus Denmark. This is the first of the last 16 in what has been a very exciting tournament so far, with all the dramas, all the games, starting with, as sad as it is, starting with the whole Eriksson thing, down to the group of death, no pun intended. It's going to be a great last 16 round of fixtures with Wales and Denmark starting up. Any closing thoughts, Shyam?
Yeah, you throw COVID into all of that as well. Yeah, it's been a really enthralling tournament. But here the cream will start to rise to the top from here, I think. I've not been a fan of 24 teams going into 16. You and I have had long chats about it. In the Champions League, they used to have the 24-team group stage. So the 6 group winners and the 2 best runners-up would go through. So you go straight to quarters. But you can see a case for the 16 here, because it seems to keep more teams, it seems more teams seem to have a shot until later. Yeah. Like maybe Hungary were out before the Germany game and they don't give everything that they've got because they're just playing for shits and giggles, but they had a chance against Germany because of the format and they nearly took it. So that keeps more teams engaged, and maybe that has helped make it a bit more of a spectacle.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. All right, guys, perfect. Thanks so much for watching. On that note, Shyam, you make a fair point for the 3rd place. I don't really like it, but fair enough. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. We're the 5 Year Pass podcast. My name is Suddy. This is Shyam. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. Please hit the follow button as well. As I said, we're the 5 Years Pass. Keep football simple, and as always,
keep passing, guys. Cheers.